All right, welcome in everybody. We are back. Had a little daytime episode. Mix it up, Daniel, man. Had the director of operations from LSU. Now we're talking to one of their stud pitchers, getting it all done in a day. But man, glad to have you back, Daniel.
Yeah. You sugar-coated that, or you're very humble because you didn't have just him. You've been talking to people all day. You got a lot of content that you're putting
Billy
out.
Barrels, big money. I mean, hey, we got Survivor going on. I wish Justin would have been around then. And you know who I really wish? I made a joke about it when we had him on the show. Grant Nip would have been on somebody's team, and he would have immunity every week.
I mean, I think it would be safe to say that would have been you because at that point in time, you were all humps.
Yeah,
You're,
Justin.
you were
I
humping
went.
all
I
day.
went to Bowie's Creek, man, and like that place, they love baseball so much. It was hard for me not to love them. And like for a week, I felt like a genuine Campbell fan more than LSU. But ultimately, I came and saw my guys. Came back to the powerhouse. I know where my heart is, and so with that, how you doing, tonight, Justin?
I'm good. Yeah, there's nothing like some good mid-major baseball.
It really is, man. They're very passionate.
Yeah.
They packed it out. And the fans that are there, they're very loud and intense. I got the opening weekend. They were against UCSB, so
Mhm.
UCSB
Yeah.
was ranked, and Campbell had a chip on their shoulder because no one was ranking them, and
Right.
sure enough, they took the series.
Yeah. Yeah. We played UCSB last year too. They're a good squad.
Yeah, and I mean, he knows that, Daniel. We're obviously going to get into his story, but most people forget, where Justin came from and what he was doing last year. But before we get into all that, you are in Baton Rouge now. Let's talk about food is an important item to me. What is your favorite thing you've eaten since you've gotten to Baton Rouge?
I'm a big seafood guy. So coming here, I knew I was gonna like love everything. I actually had some gumbo today for lunch. But I'm gonna go with the shrimp. I mean, we have shrimp at our um, dining here, our athlete dining a lot. It's my go-to for sure. Yeah, big shrimp guy.
Daniel, man, let's talk about it. The powerhouse dining. So, did you ever have shrimp, dude?
I mean, probably not the same as that. They probably got like jumbo prawns. I was dealing with
I know, man. That's
frozen.
a different level right there.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
There we go. Now we know how you boys put on that muscle. But let's talk about music. If you could go anywhere in the country, see any artist, who are you going to see? Where are you going to see them?
I think I'm gonna go. I love Morgan Wallen. I'm like a new country guy myself, but I'm gonna go Morgan Wallen in Nashville or Luke Bryan in Nashville.
I don't know if Daniel's going to like your answer. He's about over the Morgan Wallen response.
I'm 100% over that. And it really has nothing to do with him personally. It's
Yeah,
just everybody comes on here. It's just like the same thing, and like I don't see the fascination with him. But
I
I
could
mean,
give you I could give you a unique answer, but nobody's gonna know who the artist is. That's the problem.
I mean,
You know Mike Stud.
of course I do. Like who
Okay, all
does?
right. I
Who
want to see I
doesn't?
want to see Mike Stud in New Orleans. I've been begging to get Mike Stud to come to New Orleans, and it's never gonna happen. But
I'll,
Mike
I'll
Mike,
put
Stud's
the
Mike,
a
call.
Mike,
I'll
guy.
put the
Mike.
call in. I got connections everywhere. No,
Big calls baseball guy too. He holds the record for lowest ERA in Duke history. You didn't know that, but
there we go. We're learning all sorts of facts
yeah,
here.
there you go.
You never know what you might get on this episode.
Right.
No, man, when it comes to Morgan Wallen, all I can think about, and it ties to LSU as well. I was leaving the LSU Ole Miss game last year where Travinsky hit the go-ahead bomb in the
Yeah.
ninth, and all the fans were wrapped around the stadium, and that was when he canceled. And so here I
Okay.
was, the happy LSU fan, not going to the concert, got my
Yep.
fix. Everybody else was pissed off that night, especially because you had Ole Miss fans that left that game and then went to
Yeah.
that. So they had to watch their team lose and get the concert canceled. So I definitely ended up on the winning end of that situation.
Yeah.
So sports team, obviously you see the Twins hat. We know we're going to get into where you're from, but if you can go see any team anywhere, what team you going to see, where you going to see them?
So I've been in New York, but I think I'm going to go with the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium. Yeah, big. I'm a big. I could watch Clayton Kershaw pitching on a Saturday night in Dodger Stadium. I think that's probably my.
Against the Cardinals, Daniel. Against the Cardinals.
Man, I'm concerned about baseball this season because not that spring training games are any indication of what's to come, but the Rays are really bad.
You should have went and got your boy Blake Snell.
Again?
Yeah.
He don't want to come back here. He's still bitter about his World Series.
Bet. Yeah.
So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go as far away from Tampa Bay, Florida as possible. I'm gonna go to the Padres. And you know what? I'm not even you got picked up 1-year deal by the Giants today.
I did see that. Yep.
It's crazy, but this ain't about Blake Snell. I'm over Blake Snell. It's about you. So let's get down to it, man. Tell me a little bit about your hometown. Where are you from?
I'm from Lakeville, Minnesota, so all the way up there. Big hockey town. Yeah, it's really cold all the time.
If I was gonna go to Blakeville, Minnesota.
Lakeville.
Lakeville. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. So if I was gonna
I heard he's from where they made before. I'm just gonna answer this question for you, Daniel. I think they filmed Mighty Ducks there. That's what I heard.
No, and not in Lakeville. I don't know where in Minnesota they filmed it, but
But if I was traveling to Lakeville, what's the one thing where you'd be like, hey bro, when you go to Lakeville, you gotta check this out or do this or eat this? What is the one thing?
That's a really good question. It's not like a small town, so you're not going to get like those. You're not going to be like, oh, this one restaurant you got to go to. We have like a old downtown and a new downtown. The old downtown has some really nice restaurants. There's this burger called the Juicy Lucy. Have you ever tried?
Yeah, is that the one with the cheese stuffed in the middle?
It is.
Let's go.
There's this restaurant called B52s, and it has like the best Juicy Lucy I've ever had. That's my go-to. Yeah, gotta try it.
A double Juicy Lucy with some onions and some bacon. Let's go.
Absolutely. It's
my go. Spend a week in the gym after eating something like that.
Nah, man, that's why I go to the gym to eat stuff like that.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit. Obviously, Lakeville, you growing up, yeah, you got mom, dad, brothers, and sisters?
Yeah, I got mom, dad, and then a younger sister. She goes to Nebraska now. She's 2 years younger than me.
Nebraska, man, you guys were like, you know what? I want the opposite of Lakeville, Minnesota.
Yeah.
I just want to be different. I mean, she's probably got some cold weather, but for you, I mean, you're gonna get some cold weather, but it's gonna be pretty brutal in the spring, towards the end of the spring, summer. So is your sister an athlete too?
She is not. She could have played D2 golf, but she's actually studying in PGA management. So she is going to be a golf pro. If like you go to the golf course and want to get lessons, like she's going to be the person that gives you lessons. So yeah,
you get worked on the course by her, don't you?
Honestly, not really.
I don't believe it. I don't believe
it. If you had home
I've done some.
You should
have studying our guy. He's good at everything, Daniel. He's that guy.
If you had Holman on after me, you could have asked him. He would admit that I'm pretty good, but no, she'll still beat me, but it won't be a blowout.
All right, what on a typical day? If you went out, what would you shoot? 80s?
Anywhere from 78 to 82.
Oh, you're toast, Daniel.
I'm
not even showing up.
I mean, it would have to be my best day to be able to have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But
I see a golf cart and a 6-pack with my name on it just to watch.
I mean, I'm not above doing that either. I've been known to drive people around and just
so you
not
bring
play.
Up Luke. Can Luke swing them?
Luke's all right.
He can. It sounds like he can. But not as good as Justin.
He's upper 80s, low 90s, anywhere on there. He's your average golfer.
See, that's my speed right there. Me and Luke, we could ride in the same cart together. If Justin and I are playing, it's gonna be best ball, and it's gonna be his every time.
I ride in the car with like Gidry. Gidry's someone that's very comparable to me.
All right. All right.
Yep.
So growing up, who's your biggest influence? Was it a sports star? Was it your mom, dad? Who was it?
It was definitely, I think, my grandpa or my dad. Um, on like in terms of sports stuff, for sure, my dad. My dad was like my coach growing up. Was heavily involved, for sure. And then like I mentioned before, I'm a big Clayton Kershaw guy. I actually grew up. I didn't really understand like how good he was to the level, like how good he was in baseball. I really actually like saw a couple articles about him when I was like really young in like elementary school about all this charity work that he does. He builds wells for kids in Africa, and then I just kind of like always left-handed pitcher too, and then really came to like him. Read his book growing up, so he's been a big influence on me. But I'd say in terms of sports, my dad for sure. And then like off the field stuff, my grandpa's been super involved in my life. I'm a big outdoorsman. I love to hunt and fish, and he's like my guy. If I want to go hunting and fishing, I hit up my grandpa, and that's who I'm going with.
Is your grandpa taking you ice fishing?
Yes.
What? All right. So
Dude, I'm
now,
picturing grumpy old
now,
men right now, dude.
now I'm intrigued. So ice fishing. What
Yep.
is the prep work? Is the hole already there for you when you go out, or do you actually have to like chisel the ice and like create your own
No.
hole? Like
You got
what I
yeah.
picture is you going to this outhouse looking thing
Hmm.
and there's a hole in the ground and you got to
Hmm.
bring your own like seat. You got to bring everything just like you would a normal, but there's no boat. You just sit there and you just dunk the bait in
You're
the water and
referencing
you wait.
grumpy old men. That's your picture of it. I see.
Exactly.
No, there's these ice augers they call them, and they're motor powered, and you just like put gas powered, and you just yank on it like a lawnmower, and then it's got big blades on it, and the blades go into the ice all the way down, and then once you get to the bottom of the hole, you push through to the water, and then pull everything back up, and then you'll have a clean hole right there.
How long does it take?
If you have a good ice auger, it's like 5-10 seconds.
Now, how thick is the ice? Are we talking like 3 or
Depends.
4 inches?
I
Like,
mean,
Depends.
Daniel, you're talking about the difference in the way we grew up versus him because where we're from, the ice never gets thick, and you're told specifically never to step on it,
Yeah.
whereas you're literally cutting the ice there. Like this whole thing is weird to me because we wouldn't step on the ice. We know better.
Oh yeah.
that's what I'm intrigued. I'm like, you mean to tell me you're walking out in just the middle of a body of water, trusting that it's frozen through enough to where you can just hang out and party and fish and cut holes and do your thing. That's all right.
Absolutely.
So now the next question is, and this is totally off script. Jim's probably like, "Come on, dude, let's get back to it."
No,
But
I'm actually look. I got a message from Drew Beam saying that he was going to hit me up later. He's coyote hunting.
this is, I mean, this just gets better. All right, what kind of fish do you get when you ice fish, and what is the biggest fish that you've caught ice fishing?
So I haven't ice fished in a while. I'm not as big of a fan of sitting on frozen ice and freezing, my ass off. I'm good on that. But most of the time we're fishing for panfish. I don't know what you guys call them down here, like crappies. Like
Yeah,
yeah, so mostly like crappies, bluegill, sunfish, occasional like a bass or around there. We have these things called tip ups. There, you probably maybe seen a video of them. Like you just put bait down there, and then there's a flag that goes down, and then when something hits it, the flag goes up, and you run and you get it, and you manually hand like pull the line in, and you'll catch like a northern pike or I don't know what you guys call a pike.
Yeah,
But yeah, mostly
that
that.
seems like my way of fishing, like the
Oh,
easy
it's
way.
awesome. It's awesome. You just sit there and you just, you're looking out, you have like 10 of them out, and then all of a sudden you see a flag go up and you're hauling ass to get there. You're just booking it. It's awesome.
Daniel,
But
all I know is I went fishing. Obviously, when I'm visiting you in Tampa, what I don't do is that I went deep sea fishing on a little cruise tour thing over at Daniel's. They were like trying to do the fishing for me. That's not what I wanted. Like I want to fish
yeah,
myself. They just wanted to let me reel it in and say I caught it. That's not fishing.
yeah, yeah, I get that.
All right, so back to the script. All right,
Mhm.
you what I would imagine is growing up as a kid, you're obviously playing baseball, but if you're in Minnesota, you got to find other sports to play, right? You can't just be
Sure.
outside all day. So, what sports did you play growing up?
Played 4 different sports in high school, alone. So I played hockey all the way up until my freshman year. Quit that because it's insane up there. Just like the amount of demand that they need for it, like the time that you need to put in for it. I'm like, I can't play baseball and hockey at the same time. Um, Big golfer, as you said, played golf growing up. Played soccer most of my life. I'm a huge soccer fan, like outside of baseball. That's something that most people don't know about me. Um, Played football up until probably like I was like 13, quit, and then started again my senior year of high school. And this is where the soccer and the football come in together because I was a kicker and a punter. And yeah, that's about
Daniel was the punter.
Yeah.
where it.
He was the tight end and the punter. Daniel, I am curious. I'm going to ask you this instead of Justin because you're the hockey guy. I'm not. Are there guys usually typically as tall as Justin? I feel like there's not guys that are like 6'5" out there.
Bro, Victor Hedman is probably the biggest dude I've ever seen. And that's not including skates. Like, you put him on skates, he's like 7 foot tall.
Who's Daniel Chara is?
Yeah, Ochara's like 6'10". Like,
There are
like,
tall. I don't watch hockey, so I don't know. I didn't picture real super tall guys playing.
they put Chara like there, and like he is just a stopper because he's just takes up space. It's like the equivalent of putting a 7'2" guy, a center, like just taking up space.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, with the wingspan that Justin has after seeing him in person, when it comes to soccer, that dude could be able to cover the whole goal, and there's no doubt in my mind.
Well, and not to mention these dudes can blast a puck over 120 miles an hour.
Yep.
So it's like, I'm good. All good. All right. So obviously, ton of sports, a lot going on. What do you, when you get to high school? Well, let's start with this. What high school did you go to?
I went to Lakeville South High School.
So once you get to Lakeville South, are you still dabbling in all these sports, or do you go, all right, now I got to really fine tune this and decide what it is I want to do?
So I quit soccer after my junior year and just played baseball and football my senior year. That's kind of, I mean, I committed to Xavier my sophomore year of high school, so I was already locked up at that point. But I knew like going into my freshman year, like, hey, I might actually like have a shot at this. I'm this really tall, lanky kid, like ton of projection. Like, okay, if I actually put some time and effort into this, I could play in college. So that was like kind of freshman year. That's when I quit hockey and realized, okay, hockey was probably like one of my favorite sport at the time. But I knew like if I wanted to, I was good at baseball, and I knew if I wanted to make it in baseball, I had to quit hockey. So I guess my freshman year of high school was really the time where I made that decision.
Well, it seems like that decision, paid off. You got better and better every year. I mean, up until you get to your senior year, you make 6 starts, you work 34 innings, you recorded 45 strikeouts, 18 walks, you had a 1.63 ERA. First team all state, first team all conference. Obviously when you start developing the accolades and getting the looks, what was going through your head? Are you saying, hey, I'm looking for one school in particular, or I'm going to entertain all the schools that talk to me? What was your mindset going into the next phase of baseball?
Yeah, I had an idea of what I wanted. I didn't want to be a number at a school. I wouldn't want to go to a huge school right out of the jump. I mean, you're talking, I was a 16-year-old kid. I didn't really understand like what college was really like. And then it was in terms of just like what my options were. I knew that if I went to a big school, I probably wasn't going to play right away, and I wanted to have a chance to play as a freshman. So yeah, I didn't really have a school in mind. It's kind of ironic. I went to a school that I didn't even know existed before I started getting recruited. So yeah, I mean, I knew I wanted to get away from home. Kind of like I was like, it's really cold here. I don't want to be here anymore. So I was like, let me get away from Minnesota and, stay away from the bigger schools. And I ended up doing that.
The funny part about you saying you didn't know it existed is you always have to look for the parentheses to know which Xavier it even is.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even know there was one down here until I came to LSU.
Yep, just right down the way.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there it is. So why Xavier? Why them? What was magical about that place where you're like, yep, that's where I'm going?
I absolutely loved the head coach. He was like the coolest dude when I was being recruited. And when I got on campus, he was still the same guy. I just wanted to play for him. I felt, it's a good education. And, I like the school and I went there. It's got the really like modern, but also old look to it, the campus, and super small. And they had a couple guys from Minnesota, or two guys from Minnesota on the team at the time. And I went on my visit and connected with them super well, and was like, okay, I could definitely see myself coming here. And yeah, that was really what ended up, selling it for me.
So you get there, obviously, we were talking mid majors earlier, solid baseball program. So you knew you were going somewhere good. My first question though, non-baseball related, just talking about coming from Minnesota, Ohio, how much different was it in terms of just a general overall place? And I don't even just mean like weather, but I mean, was it anything close to home or was it a completely different atmosphere?
Trying to remember, because I committed there my sophomore year and I lived there for a whole summer my junior year and senior year. So I was already used to kind of like that area. I just remember it being like it was a big city, like it's in Cincinnati. I'd never lived in a big city before. Um, and no, I mean it's really on the edge of like the South. It's really like you get into Kentucky and then you get kind of like I don't know how to really describe Kentucky. Like, it's just weird. Weird. The South people that are like they're they're Southern, but they're not completely Southern yet. So you get a little,
Ironically, I've only went through Kentucky to drive twice to Cincinnati since you bring that up. So I only know driving through Kentucky. I don't know actually hanging out there.
it's on the verge of the South, but it's not the South. I loved it. I mean, that place is awesome.
Did you check out the reasons I went there was to go to the Great American Ballpark to go to Reds games. Did you go to Reds games while you were there?
Yeah, we went to a couple. I got to watch Kershaw throw there. And then I think we went to one last year. Yeah, that's one of my favorite parks, but I've come to learn it's not a great place to pitch. The ball flies out there. It's a really small park. So that's
Don't pitch there, don't pitch Coors Field, huh?
yeah, I guess not. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually got when we were talking to Brent earlier, your coach,
Mhm.
Daniel, he was talking about coaching at BYU. We got that breathtaking view from Gavin Taylor we had on from BYU, but he was talking
Yeah.
about the way the ball travels there. And yeah, I wouldn't
Oh
want to
yeah.
be a pitcher somewhere where the ball is going to travel and I'm getting bombs knocked off me left and right.
Not at all. Yeah. I give props to the guys at Tennessee. That's got to be pretty bad.
No doubt. So you get there, freshman year, you make 15 appearances, including 3 starts, finished with an ERA of 3.55, 25 in the third innings pitch, had a record of 2-0, 18 strikeouts, which was part of the Musketeer single season team record of 482. Freshman year, it's always about what you're able to take in and learn. I feel like more than, team record or anything. It's about development because we always notice that freshman to sophomore jump is the most significant, usually, especially for pitchers, So that
Mhm.
freshman year, you're able to get your feet wet, you're able to have some success. Talk about what you learned in that freshman year.
Yeah, it was really cool. Something about Xavier that people don't know, and I guess maybe they probably do now after this year, is they play an insanely hard non-conference schedule because the conference schedule hurts their RPI usually when it comes to trying to get an at-large bid in the tournament. We actually opened the series against opened the season against my couple of my current teammates in Holman and Cade Woods at Bama. That was a like eye-opening experience, just like SEC play, having people like chirp me in the bullpen, like, wow, this is we're here.
Well, you know what? Since you went there, I'm gonna jump ahead, but I have to ask now because when we had Skeens on, he talked about when he played for Air Force and he played in the box and how after that he just envisioned himself playing for LSU there. Was it the same thing for you?
Not really.
Okay.
I didn't think I was gonna go I didn't think I was leaving ever until like last year, I guess. But not in that moment. I was like, I was just like, this is really cool. Yeah.
I mean, I guess he got he got infatuated because Dylan Cruz took him yard in his first
Yeah.
AB. So
Yeah. Yeah. But my freshman year was a crazy year for me. I started the season, I traveled the first weekend, didn't travel the next weekend, was like kind of on the verge of the travel roster the whole entire, and up until like the end of the year, was kind of pitching in the situation where you're either up 10 or you're down 10, and they're just putting people in to like eat innings. And I just worked my way up throughout the year and ended up getting those 3 starts and starting on the weekends at the very end of the season. And my last start of the season was in an elimination game in the Big East tournament. Just it was a big learning experience. A lot of freshmen, you come in being the best guy on your high school team, and you're surrounded by a bunch of guys that were the best guy on their high school team. So I had to learn that right away, and then just build my confidence up, all the way through my freshman season.
yeah, absolutely. And so you look at the numbers jump for yourself, but also as a team from freshman to sophomore year, obviously had to be fun for you. So sophomore season, you make 29 appearances, 6-2 record, 1.8 ERA, 7 saves in 57 innings with 63 strikeouts, 182 opponent batting average. So absolutely thriving. You made a massive jump. Also, your team obviously has massive success, obviously getting in the postseason. So, talk about your success, talk about how that, mixed in with the team success that next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I ended up getting hurt going into my sophomore season in the fall, and that was the best thing to happen to me. Some people like you get hurt and it's like it sucks. Well, I really took that opportunity to get better. I haven't mentioned this. I came into college at 180 pounds, and I was 6'5". I was literally a pencil. um, like I
And now
that's
you're
why.
eating shrimp.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I put on a bunch of weight when I got hurt that fall. Took some time off throwing, and then built myself back up. And that's what really, really I think made a big difference for me, and probably it's why I'm here where I am today. But yeah, I think I really just you know got the time off, put on the weight, and then just basically adapted the fact that when I come in the ball game at the end, in the 7th or the 8th inning, the game's over. And that was just the way I looked at it. And it was really fun. Our team was really solid, really old team. A couple guys that were 5th years that were in the middle of that lineup, and then we had a great rotation. Our 3 starters were amazing, and it was just a fun year. Like we eliminated Vanderbilt in the NCAA tournament and won the Big East championship. It was a really fun year.
Yeah, I mean, and you talk about the veteran leadership. I was actually just listening to our other show that is hosted by Alex Day. He was talking to Griffin Merritt last year, who was 4 years at Cincinnati, then transferred to Tennessee. And
Yeah.
he was talking about the very thing you're talking about. He goes, if you look all over, these veteran heavy teams are the one that have success. And anybody who knows LSU's roster last year, they knows that was the case. A lot of guys, 3, 4, even 5-year guys in there, like the Belozos and Dugosses of the world. Those are the teams that are having success, especially when you can mix in like really, really good young talent with those experienced guys, and that matters. And so when you talk about an Xavier veteran-led team, it makes sense to the success that they had. And you talked about it, Nashville regional. You lost the opener to Oregon, but then you beat Eastern Illinois, and then the Vandy win. 2 innings pitched, three strikeouts. You get the save. And for me as an LSU fan, that's huge, Justin, because I said something to Daniel before the episode. It tells me a guy like you is somebody that I want on the LSU roster because you're not going to be afraid of the postseason. You're not going to be afraid on the road. Vandy, a hostile SEC environment, a very good team. Obviously, they're hosting for a reason, and you're able to slam the door on them with no fear. So it tells me that when LSU gets to the postseason this year, you're a guy that they can put the ball in your hand, and you're not going to be afraid of the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know the story about that game. Actually, it was a very unorthodox finish. I pitched the 8th inning of that game, and then walked out on the mound to do my warm ups. Threw all my warm up pitches, and they called a weather delay, a lightning delay with lightning, within the vicinity of the field or whatever. There was a 4 or 3.5 hour delay between the 8th and the 9th inning, and they kept telling me like, "Do you want to come out? Do you want to come out? Do you want to come out?" And I was like, "No, I'm finishing this." Like I knew that that it was probably it for me at Xavier. I was going to leave, and I was like, I'm not going out by taking myself out of the game. Stayed in the game, and we ended up going 1-2-3 in the ninth, and that was, for 3.5 hours later. I think the delay started at 6:30, and we finished the game at like 9:30. So it was cool way to go out.
Yeah, Daniel was a reliever and he was a pitching coach at Tampa. Daniel, you're in that kind of situation, man. How hard of a decision is that? You got a guy who pitched and then taking a 3.5 hour, 4 hour break.
How did you throw any innings prior to the delay?
Yeah, one.
So at that point, I think I go, all right, I would treat it as, all right, he did an extended bullpen, like prep work. Now we're cooling off a little bit. We're going to get hot. I would feel him out. I mean, if we're early in the season, maybe not, but later on in the season, yeah, you feel good. Let's go. Let's
Especially if
do it.
he's your guy, right? You're trying to close
Yeah,
the thing
definitely.
down.
I mean, I am a big proponent of feeling your guys out to an extent, because guys are competitors and pitchers will lie to you. When they need to come out, they'll tell you, I'm good. I got one more. So you got to know where the line is. But given the fact that they were getting ready to start a brand new inning or pick up from the first, like, you got time, man. Yeah. Throw them back out there. See what you got, man. Let's go.
Yep.
So you have this success. You said you weren't thinking about it, prior to we were talking about it, but obviously you hit the transfer portal. Were there any other options you were considering? Because I read up on it and you said, in a quote that, how could you pass up on the opportunity once LSU was interested? So did you consider anybody else, or once LSU came calling, like there was no looking back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was in the portal for 20 minutes, and Jay called me, and I get this,
That's why he's the portal king. 20
Coach
minutes.
Johnson.
20
Coach
minutes.
Johnson. Sorry, I'm so used to calling my Xavier head coach. We called him by his first name. I'm so used to calling Coach Johnson by his first name because it's just like ingrained in my head that's I don't know. So Coach Johnson calls 20 minutes after I'm in the portal, and I get this area code, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I hadn't really thought, when you're a mid-major, you're in a small school, you don't really understand how, if you're that good or not. I'm going to the portal with so many unknowns. You can't have any contacts with any schools before you're in the portal, so I didn't really know what was coming. And I talked to almost every SEC school, most of the ACC, most of the Pac-12, but I knew I wanted to come to I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to play in the SEC. I wanted to play in the best baseball conference. And it wasn't one of those things where I'm transferring and I want to start no matter what. I was willing to challenge myself no matter what situation I was coming into. And I felt, it was kind of between here and Tennessee, and I kind of took both my visits, and I decided, I wanted to play for Coach Johnson, and I came down here for the Super Regional. That was my visit, and I was like, that was a big difference maker for me. I got to sit there and watch, 12,500 people go nuts for a baseball game. I'd never seen that before in college baseball, and I was like, okay, that's my selling point. It was easy after that.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the box, Jay Johnson, the recruiting, winning the national championship, it's definitely it doesn't have to do much selling, right?
Yeah.
And the thing was, we've had Tony V on here twice. The idea, Daniel, that his two options are you're going to be winning no matter what. You're going to be playing for an elite coach with elite teammates in an amazing environment. You were definitely in a win-win situation, but the 20-minute phone call or 20 minutes before the phone call is no surprise. I mean, it's a common story. It's kind of crazy, man, just how good he's been in the portal, going and getting guys of your caliber. And, you talk all, hanging out with Luke, right? And, it seems like, Luke waited till after USA, but he said on his episode, Jay had spoke to him immediately when he hit the portal. And obviously he took a lot more time to think about it because he wanted to focus on Team USA, but he came back and said that, it was pretty much going to be LSU. And y'all all come into a program where, you have an opportunity to win a national championship every year. And I love seeing you transfers hang together. That's a common theme of Daniel. I feel like across all these teams, the transfer scene. to hang out. But you get here, once you put on the uniform, you start pitching, man. Like, how long does it take before you realize, like, I'm not at Xavier anymore, man. Like, I'm at the powerhouse.
Definitely. I mean, there's a couple different things. Like, I think I made a tweet down here. Like, the first time I got here, I sent a picture of like the field and like said like home or something like that, and it had like 3,000 likes and like a couple hundred comments. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like, if I would have tweeted something at Xavier last year, I would have had like 2 likes, and it would have been like my dad and some random guy I've never heard of. And then probably like, I mean, going to the first football game. Xavier doesn't have a football team, so I'd never been to a college football game where I have like a team that I want to cheer for. And that was like, wow, what is this? This is crazy. Yeah, I mean that's definitely it for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And that would another, combination of the two schools, LSU and Tennessee. That's another thing with athletes. It's everything schools, right? Like you're talking about football. Like you can go enjoy all the other sports, whether it's softball. With LSU, you even got gymnastics, but you got the
Yep.
women's basketball. Like just it's everything in Death Valley at night on Friday. Or, I mean on Saturday nights is just it's definitely different, but
Yep.
you get into the season. You've obviously had all this fun in the fall. I watch you guys. Y'all look good all fall. You're enjoying football. You're enjoying everything. But once it gets serious, you get into it. You've had 7 appearances. You're 1-0. You have a save. Let's go to first. Let's go to Houston, man. I got to watch LSU and the Shriners 2 years ago. I saw what it was like in that environment, how cool it is pitching in a pro stadium. You get a chance to come in and close the door, with Louisiana. Talk about, pitching in a big league stadium, in that, environment. And, especially it's a battle for Louisiana, right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been playing college baseball for this is my 3rd year now. So Xavier, we faced Cincinnati, so I know exactly what an in-state rivalry is like and how much each other you don't like each other. Um, that was big. I mean, I knew it was kind of, we didn't really use a ton of our bullpen, on Friday night because, Mr. Big Money can throw 7 innings shutout on any Friday and it's normal. But and he did against Texas. Um, but yeah, I knew my opportunity was coming. I think a little bit of a up and down outing, the outing before that, and I was like, I was just hungry. I think I was pacing back and forth in the bullpen, it's waiting for them to call my name. Before that, I was like, if I get in this game, it's over. And yeah, it was fun. I mean, you're running out. I've never had a longer run out from the bullpen in my entire life. It felt like it took me 3 minutes to run from the bullpen to the mound. That's one thing I'll say about that park. It's a big park, in the gaps, and the bullpens are out in left and right center. So I'm running in from right center, just looking around, and the fans are going nuts. And I think I come in, to start the inning, or came in for Guidry. Just taking the ball and looking around, it was like, wow, this is just about as close as playing in the big leagues as it gets. And yeah, it was fun. I mean, I'm a flair for the dramatic. I have a flair for the dramatic in some ways, so I had to give up that homer in the 9th inning to make it close. But other than that, it was really fun. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, man, like, and I glossed over the performance before where you struggle, but that actually I should have brought that up because it actually speaks to your ability to have a short memory,
Mhm.
and be able to it was against Northern Illinois. And so for you to, bounce right back in that situation and be on top of your A game and close the door. It got to, in this league, to be able to pitch, in the bullpen, you got to have short memory. Me and Daniel talk about it all the time. And so you obviously do that. And then you get the win against North Dakota State, and then this past weekend, you get to pitch in Duty Noble. Talk about, unfortunately, the weather this weekend, it wasn't, I'm telling you, Justin, that environment was not what it typically is, but nonetheless, there was still 11,000 people there. You still got to see the fire pits lit up and everything. Talk about what it was like to go out there and pitch, and what I feel like is arguably the top stadium in college baseball, along with Alex Box.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I never. You talk about Vandy playing in Vandy, playing at Bama. I'd never. No, those stadiums weren't packed when I was pitching. This is the first time I've really pitched in a full stadium on the road, and yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, I'm to the point where it's I'm kind of used to it now. Right? Start the season, I'd have a fast heartbeat out on the mound. Like, okay, this is new to me. Now I'm pretty settled in, I guess you'd say. So I didn't feel sped up or anything out there, but it was unbelievable just to hear the maroon and white and people screaming and going crazy. That was fun. I mean, it was fun for the first couple innings there, and ran out of gas in the third. But other than that, coming off a 40 pitch outing in the midweek, I just kind of ran out of gas on Friday night. But
Yeah, and I
yeah,
wanted to ask you about that because you said you felt like you were out there too long, and looking at your history, I've seen that you've gone longer than that. But now that you bring up the midweek, it makes sense. But yeah, the Daniel, we know as he's a guest of the show. Hunter Hines is the wrong guy to run out of gas with, but it wasn't just you. I mean, he did it all weekend. He actually he was batting 269 with one home run coming into this weekend. Hit a bomb every single game, right? Like he just. And that's baseball in a nutshell, right? You just got to find your groove. And he unfortunately found it against, three of our guys, and he got a hold of one. But you did look really good up until it got to that. So I mean, I saw another glimpse of just when you're sharp. And I talked to you afterward. Obviously, we talked about that short memory. You're already ready. Bounce back out there against Florida. Luke was the same way, even after he appeared inhuman right before Friday. The Mississippi State faithful can talk a big game afterward, but I told Luke they were out there already. Once Nate Dome had been marked off pitching Friday, they had already chalked up the win because they felt like there was no way they could beat Luke. And then afterward, they're trashing me, but it's like before the game, y'all are already pouting and chalking up a loss. But good for them, man. I talked to Brent earlier. I think it's good. Daniel, we had a discussion about it, and Justin, you may or may not feel this way. I always think it's good to face adversity early. I really do. You find out about your guys. You're going to find out who's going to step up. Whether you're talking about the pitching staff or the position players, y'all have a lot of depth. And you have a lot of guys fighting position, and so moments like this, guys are going to bring out their best and try to grind for those spots, and especially when you have Florida on deck, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity. And so, with that, how much are you looking forward to a bounce back against, a Florida team that's a top 10 ranked team, a team that LSU just met in the national championship last year. And, for a lot of the LSU fans, we feel like it's a rival for us.
For sure. Yeah. I just know the box is going to be absolutely like packed. I mean, I'm never going to see that many people inside of that stadium, probably for the rest of the season until we get to regionals and super regionals. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, I can't wait. They got some good bats in that lineup. Obviously, they have Cags and Colby Shelton and guys like that. We're looking forward to face. Our pitching staff's looking to bounce back. We had a down weekend this weekend, which is uncharacteristic of us, but it's going to be a fun test for sure, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Big time
Sunday,
battle.
Daniel. It's got hey, look, I already said it, Justin. My bad, Dan. I mean, cut you off. Sunday, man, is a special day for me. I get a chance to step out on the field. They got to win. Like it's got to be. I want it to be the day that I remember for the rest of my life. LSU beats Florida, who I hate the most, and I got a chance to do the military tribute. I needed to all
Well,
come together.
there we go. Okay.
Justin, what you don't realize is he could either be the guy who can't come back to the stadium or the guy who can't leave the stadium. This is a big. I think this is a bigger weekend for him than it is for you guys.
Well, I mean, I didn't know. This goes back to last year, Justin and Omar. I didn't know. There's a kid who comes up to me with a damn corn on the cob and asks if he can interview me. And I do. And I had some drinks at the tailgate. And long story short, he said, what fan base gets on your nerve the most? And I said Florida. And then I said F Florida, talking about exactly. And next thing you know, I have people messaging me left and right. And I look and like, at the time, like 3 million people had already seen it on TikTok. And I was like, what did I get into?
Actually, it's he's being very modest in how this all went down. Everything was true until he got to the part of what he said, but it sounded like this. Florida,
I blame Rodney Beloso and George.
LSU rules. Florida.
No, I didn't.
That's how it went.
But
30 seconds.
I blame Hot Rod Beloso, George Cruz. It's all their faults. I take no blame.
Those two guys can party, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've heard.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, man, before you bounce, we're going to play a game that we play with all of our guests. It's called This or That. You down to play?
I'm always down.
Let's go. All right, it's very simple. I give you two options. You choose one option or the other. Can't say both, can't say neither. Just be decisive. Go with your heart, go with your gut, go with something. Just pick one.
Got you.
All right, Jim, who's This or That brought to you by?
Chinook Seedery, baby. 8 flavors, mild to wild.
That's right. If you aren't on Chinook seeds, get your shit together. I mean,
I heard that episode of the Hot Corner earlier. Hunter told Alex he never had them before. How's that happen?
Oh, bro, like these seeds are sweeping the nation, man. Look, Justin, I'm sure you've had them.
I'm an ambassador.
So you've definitely had them. What's your favorite flavor?
Oh, smokehouse barbecue. By far.
Let's go.
That's back-to-back smokehouse answer. Smokehouse taking over.
Yeah, I love smokehouse barbecue. It's what we call the all-day seed.
Oh, absolutely.
You can just savor the flavor all day. You don't get sick of it.
I strictly became an ambassador because we ran out of them in the dugout, and I needed more.
You're like, this is how I'm going to ensure my seed game.
The question is, has he mixed smokehouse barbecue with cinnamon toast and had the smoke and toast? That's the question you got to ask yourself.
No.
I challenge you this weekend to find a bag of cinnamon toast.
Oh, I got some. Don't worry.
Oh, mix them up.
Okay.
Get about equal parts of smokehouse, equal part cinnamon toast. Throw them back, dude. Trust me, you'll thank me.
I'm in. All right.
When you see Jim this weekend, you'll be like, he was right.
And then what I'm gonna have him do, because my son likes to walk around and give the seeds out. He's basically a walking advertisement for Chinook. Justin's going to endorse that smoke and toast is the way, and Jackson's going to run around and give bags of them to everybody. And then what he takes from it is they like to give them tips. And when they say that they had the best flavor combination ever, my son's going to make out on this, Daniel. You see how it's going to work?
I see. Hey, whatever it takes, man.
You're going to be responsible for that little buster paying for all sorts of shenanigans.
Well, I mean, good. I'm happy.
You know what? You didn't ask Justin about him. This kid, hey, he played it so hard on Sunday, but let me tell you, on Friday when Justin and all of them were walking him, especially when Griffin Herring and Gavin Guidry caught him wearing Mississippi State and started saying something to him, he asked if we could leave the area because he didn't want nobody else to see him.
Nope. You made this bed, Jackson.
But I got to talk to Nate Ackenhausen because Nate told him he was going to make him leave there crying, and that didn't work that way. Instead, I got taunted the whole way home.
Yeah, Jim was crying all the way home. It was rough. It was rough. All right, let's get to it. First question out the gate: chicken or beef tacos?
Chicken.
Chicken. You a soft shell taco guy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like if you go chicken, you got to go soft shell.
Yep.
Bar soap or liquid soap? If you could have one type of soap for the rest of your life, we're talking about dishes, shower, washing your hands, body wash, hair.
All day.
I agree. Got to go liquid. Nice little lather, get you clean.
You realize liquid soap only cleans 50% of your body, though, right, Justin?
It's all right. I'm good. I'm taking liquid. I'm sorry.
I was lying, but the fact that you're okay with only being 50% clean is concerning to me.
I made this switch like a year ago. So, yeah.
All right. Purple uniforms or gold uniforms?
Gold, only because they fit better on me this season.
This season?
Well, okay. I have large uniforms for all my jerseys except the purple one, and I have XLs, and it fits me terribly.
So I feel like that's an easy fix, right?
No, because we have
But
our name back.
it is significant. Let me tell you, because I wear the t-shirt jerseys. Justin, I was wearing Griffin Herrings on Sunday. The gold is tough, man. The gold shows where your fat is. I prefer the purple myself. Like it hides the other stuff.
I need it to be tight, man. I need to be looking as buff as possible out here.
Exactly, man. The gold presents problems, Daniel.
All right, all right. Would you rather start a game or close a game?
I'm going close.
Yeah, you got to be wired differently, for sure.
Yep. Sure.
If you're closing a game, would you rather come in with some stakes really high, like guys on, tying run on, or would you rather come in, obviously in a closing situation, save situation, but nobody on, like fresh inning?
I like the batter. I like the runners on for sure.
Another psychopath. You guys talk
Yep.
about man, Landon Sims. We asked him, he says it was bases loaded in Arlington. Nobody out for top 10 ranked Texas. And I asked him, about that moment. And he said he lives for that moment. That's what he wanted. Y'all are psychopaths, man. Give me nobody on and just roll out.
My stuff gets better when the moment gets bigger. So I'm good with that.
Nice, nice. All right.
Yeah.
Would you rather be lost in a jungle or trapped in a haunted house?
Lost in the jungle.
You guys are just silly.
Easy.
That's easy.
Easy. I hate haunted houses.
Mike the Tiger is not caged, Justin.
I know. I'm aware.
I mean, I hate saying this because I have to say it every week. Every week I have to give the explanation because people are like, "Yeah, give me the jungle." The haunted house, okay? There's nothing in a haunted house that is real.
Yeah.
I could tell my mind it's not real. In a jungle, I can tell my mind it's not real all day, but the reality is everything is real.
Fair point.
Because Brent was smart enough to know the answer earlier, Daniel, I went ahead and flipped last year's question to him about the bear or the tiger, and he said the bear, and he's going to do his best to ball up in the corner and hope that he just leaves them alone.
Not me. I don't know what I would do in those situations, but I'm sure it would never be the right move. It would always be the wrong move.
I mean, I think my natural tendency is I'm going to run. I don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah. All right, Justin, who hits better bombs? Tanks or bear?
I'm going to go bear.
Bear.
That's what
Bear.
Brent said too.
Yep.
Would you
I don't know if you guys ever get there early enough to watch bear hit BP. It's like he mishits the ball completely and it flies over the fence. It's like,
Justin, I was saying earlier that, I always tell people about how, the college players, y'all are just young men. Some of y'all are, some are like kids, like when you talk to these 18, 19-year-olds, and
Yeah.
then you come across somebody like Jared Jones and like, that's a grown man. Like I can't call him a young man or a kid. Like that's a grown man.
For sure. Yeah.
Daniel frozen?
Nope. I think I'm back.
What, you giving us the
Okay.
silent treatment?
No, it was very delayed. Like you were still talking.
I'm not. I mean, you see, I'm on the beach, man. My Wi-Fi is not what it normally is.
I guess so. I don't know. It was
Look, Luke asked about that earlier because I normally have my sharp backdrop with all the posters from the athletic collection, the baseballs. I was like, I'm now going. If I'm not at home, I'm going with the beach just to let people know. Basically, I'm not at home.
that's the key indicator when you see the
Exactly.
beach.
That or I'm at Old Dominic's, right?
Maybe you are, maybe you're not. All right. Would you rather have a private yacht or a private jet?
Jet.
Jet. Yeah. Go anywhere. Anytime you want. All
Easy.
right. Last question. Would you rather have $10 million or would you rather win a national championship?
National championship. I'll get the money after. I'm good with that.
Man. Really?
Yep.
What if it was 20 mil?
Where'd I go? There we go. No, I'm taking the national championship. I'll make $20 million in my contract when I make it to the big leagues. I'm good with that.
Dang,
What
you heard him.
what is the number where you're like, yeah, I'm taking the money?
Probably not one.
Probably not. Yeah.
You guys are crazy. Crazy. If somebody offered
And you
me,
give me $1 billion, it's Scrooge McDuck. I'm diving in. Let's go.
yep, let's go. I'm gonna be ducktailsing and back flipping into gold coins, baby. Justin, man, it's been a pleasure, dude. Anything you want to plug or promote before you get out of here?
I'm good. My pops is definitely gonna be watching this. So what's up, pops?
There you go. Always got to give a shout out to the right folks.
Of course.
Where can people find you on social media if they want to see you or know what you're up to?
I'm on everything. I mean, I don't have Twitter anymore. I deleted it once SEC play started, but Instagram, everything. Yeah.
Who gave you that wise advice? Because I know somebody had to have told you that.
My roommate told me that as soon as I moved in. I live with Ben DePolt and Josh Pearson, so they both told me right away, like, hey, once SEC play starts, it's best to just delete it.
That's some of the best wisdom you'll ever get.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, it sounds good. I don't need that. Some of the negativity that comes with that once, if you have a rough outing or anything. So I was told just to kind of stay away.
For sure. There is, if you want to find it, you'll find it.
No, for sure.
It's like if you Google, I have a headache, you'll be dying in 10 minutes. Like, you will.
Right.
So, but Justin, man, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming on. We wish you nothing but the best. Happy, healthy, successful season. And I mean, the big thing is hopefully you guys, correct last weekend, get it back on track this weekend. You got Florida, big series, obviously, 2 top 10 teams coming in to take what could be another amazing series. I mean, the last time we saw you guys were playing for something really, really big. So hopefully that's the case again this year and you guys come out ahead and, who knows, you might be in Omaha hoisting another national championship. Yeah, I know that's the plan.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's Justin Loer, everybody. If you like hearing Justin or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook. Retweet us on Twitter. Unless it's SEC season, Justin ain't going to be able to see it or retweet it. Listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Go over to YouTube, hit subscribe, take a look at our beautiful little faces. We got lots of videos. We got lots of shorts. We got everything under the sun on YouTube. Check it out. As always, comments, ratings, feedback, thumbs up, hearts, hugs, love. We'll take it all. We'll see everyone next week. It's TBD, like some of the pitching rotations in the SEC. We are TBD as far as who's going to be on, but we're going to have something, and it's going to be special, and it's going to be good. This has been the In Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.